Sertrice here with Dr. B, and we're joining you today to talk about our new favorite thing to spend our time talking about, Inclusalytics.
Woo! We embarrassingly did not bring a hard copy of the book. We had our launch party last night and we signed a bunch of copies, which was surreal. I don't love my autograph. I don't know if you feel the same, but that was weird. And we got to celebrate the launch of our book and, and also just to be physically in the same space with other people was just so wonderful. So I'm going to turn off the book so we can see more of you, Sertrice, because I look, the lighting, yeah, isn't the best. But yeah, tell us about the book and kind of, we're what are we, a week and a half in? It's barely been on the shelves thus far, but how's your experience been?
Yeah, it's been really interesting. And it has been about a week and a half now since we released the book. And honestly, one of my favorite things about the book release so far has been the text messages and the social media posts of people with the book.
Yes!
And they're like, look, I have my book. And the excitement that everyone else has, it makes me feel better about the excitement that we have.
It's true. Yeah. And there's nothing better than see something that we have been making and putting together and all the different versions of the cover that we went through and even just going from the Word document, because we just had this massive Word document for months, and to transition that into the actual pages of a book, even in PDF form. Just anyway, this whole process to see people holding the book that we just worked so hard to get done. I keep saying these will never get old. I keep resharing those will never get old. I want everyone to send us pictures of them holding the book.
Yeah, they're so fun. And you mentioned us signing them yesterday. That was a pretty wild experience too. We had a stack of them, and we've had people who wanted to get signed copies, but then also we had the launch event, so we wanted to have those available. And it was so funny because I think all of us, right before we sat down to sign, just as a little behind the scenes, were like, oh my gosh, I didn't practice.
None of us practiced writing our signatures. And I've heard of people carrying around pens or markers to sign up if someone approaches them and wants them to sign a book. And I was I haven't had a single moment to even practice my awful signature.
It's all right. We'll get better. So all of this to say, if you see copies and our signatures look different, it's because we've had practice with time.
We already have some wonderful comments already from David Spinner, who's scheduled time today to start reading it. We are so excited. You have to let us know what you think, David. Feel free to post if you hear any truth bombs in there, a little wisdom, nuggets of wisdom. And then Nicole just ordered it today, so thank you, Nicole. Thank you for ordering the book. We have. Do you want to share the book update?
Yes. Okay, so one of our most exciting things that we wanted to talk about today, and also one of the most requested, if you tuned in last night, you already heard this, but now it's official because I was able to find it myself. The ebook is available on Amazon now too. So if you have Kindle Unlimited, you have access to the ebook, and it's also then just $10. So
just $10, $9.99 for the book. And actually, we need to follow up about this, but someone reached out who's in France who wants to maybe use it with her MBA student. She's a professor, and she's like, when's the ebook coming? Because I don't have access to the paperback, but people in the UK do. So that just doesn't make any sense to me. So Amazon, get your act together. If you can give it to people in the UK, you can get it to people in France. So that's all I gotta say there. If anyone has any connects to Amazon, let them know. France needs the book. However, that wonderful woman who reached out, I'm sorry, I don't remember on which media because we've just been all over the place, but I hope you see this and I hope you get the ebook, and I hope also Amazon gets their act together to get the paperback and hardback to France here soon. So get the ebook, $9.99. I've never saw myself selling things. You know what I mean? I'm selling consulting, that makes sense, but things actually hard things you could hold, and we had
buy this book.
Yeah, we had a square last night. We were selling the book in person. I'm this is so surreal, selling the book. Anyway, get the book. It's on Amazon now.
It is, and it's really exciting. Again, just to see people getting that, and like you said, I think we've said this before. We weren't expecting to sell many of the book necessarily. That's not our goal, right? Our goal isn't to sell thousands and thousands of the book. It's to get the book into the hands of the right people so they can use it and be able to do the work they're trying to do. Use that as a guide to for them on their journey of using data in their work. So just to see that in the short amount of time that's been available, so many people have had it, and some people, we've had amazing feedback about already reading it and seeing how it's going to help them in their work, which is like,
that's the whole point. That
warms my heart every time I see that. And then on the other side, also seeing people who maybe don't do this work and they like are looking at it and they're like, okay, I'm not going to read this whole thing, but they're like, I'm going to share it with my HR manager, or I'm going to share it. I sit on the board of this one place and I think they need it. So that's been really great to see too, is the people who are sharing it out to others who they can see it would have an impact on. So those are two of my favorite things I've seen too.
And that was something I called out at the launch party last night. I was like, because Allison, our third author, who's wonderful and who came in. So Allison came in from New York. Sertrice came in from North Carolina. So we're all be together on the stage. And it was the first time Sertrice and Allison ever met in person. Which is wonderful. And so I lost my train of thought. I do it all the time, Sertrice.
I don't know. Get your train of thought back. Yeah, I'm going to do a quick shout out to Nicole and David because they are, I'm loving the chat. I love interacting. And they're both from Canada. So they were saying the fact that they're in Canada and they were able to get a copy of the book and join us today. So shout out to all our Canadian friends. It's funny because Kim Mariah, you've heard us talk about her, our business partner too. She had mentioned, she's like, one of our first book sales was to Canada. And that we're like, we got a lot of Canadian friends. So much love.
It might have been you, David. I think it might have been you. And I love the Canadian love happening in the chat right now. And also, I'll be so curious, David and Nicole, what you think of the book, because we are straight up transparent with this in the beginning, but it does have a very strong U.S. focus, just because that's most of our clients are in the U.S. And as y'all all well know, DEI looks very, very different from country to country about what you're allowed to ask and what you're allowed to do when it comes to different identities. And so I'll be so curious, David and Nicole, and anyone who reading it who are outside of the U.S., how, like, what still works and what doesn't. Because you made a great point last night, Sertrice, like, even though the groups might vary, like, the methodology should hold true. Challenge us on that if that's not the case, right? We're just so curious to hear your perspective, like, from an international standpoint, because, like, not yet and not this year, but eventually I would like to do like a second edition that maybe has more of a global perspective, or just maybe call outs on like how it could look differently in different countries.
Yeah. And I mean, as you all know, we interviewed a lot of people to get input into this book. And so now you got me thinking about second edition, and maybe that's part of the conversation too, is just getting to interview some more people in different countries and having them add, after they've read it, this is what I would change or add here based off of our experiences. Okay, now look at us getting ahead of ourselves. Thanks, Nicole. Appreciate hearing that. And also, David, you are welcome to drive down anytime. I'll even make it easier and come back to Pittsburgh, so you don't have to come all the way to the south, unless you want to see Jared too with me in North Carolina, because that's another strong support of ours. Jared, I love you and appreciate everything you've done. And I know you've been reading the book and enjoying that as well.
Yes, and special thanks to Jared for being one of our first Amazon reviewers. I know it seems silly, and once again, not used to selling things that we need reviews for, but all this is to say, like, share if you liked it, like, put it on Amazon, because that means we can get it out to more people. One of my goals is to make it so when people type in Inclusalytics, Amazon doesn't redirect them to some wrong spelling. That would be, if we could get over that hump, and if more reviews gets more traffic, which will get those algorithms to get a little smarter about our book title. We were warned, though. I was warned specifically, like, do not title a book a fake word, because people aren't going to know how to say it. They're not going to know how to spell it. They're not going to know how to find it. And so, well, Alexander, if you're watching out there, you were right, but I still don't have regrets.
We're going to fix it. Yeah. It's an important word. And one day, it just like allyship, it's going to pop up in the dictionary and then problem solved. Yeah, we're going to get it there. But in the meantime, you leaving those Amazon reviews will definitely help us get there and over that hump. I tried. It's so funny. The first day I looked for it and I had no issues. But then I tried to find it again a few days later, and it kept sending me to like a webcam or something.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Weird, and it wasn't even called anything close to Inclusalytics, so I don't know. But anyways, all this say, if you have issues finding it, let us know and we'll help you find it.
Yeah, once again, that's item 2 on this Amazon list. Come on, Amazon, get your act together. We need books in France, we need hard copies in France, and we need you to get your SEO, fix your SEO there. Nicole just said she started typing INCLU, and then it came right up. So Nicole's, give everyone Nicole's algorithm. Just spread that out, Amazon. What else about last night? Last night it was almost like a fairy tale. I really feel like we had like all these bottles of champagne and like beautiful spreads of food and chandeliers, and like it was pretty classy, not to toot our own horns.
No, I think the event went really nice. I like things to go well, and so I get a little antsy when they don't. And so it was really nice that there wasn't any moment in the night where I felt stressed. Everything was going really smoothly. Yeah. Most people did not know each other, but I saw people talking everywhere, and that was from your family to my family to Allison's family to DEI leaders to people adjacent to DEI but still wanted to come and like partake and meet others. And there were just so many, outside of just talking and celebrating the book, so many connections being made. And that was one of my favorite parts of last night, honestly, for the people who were able to join us live. And then people who were able to join us virtually too, seeing that interaction was really fun, going back and looking at that and having Alex tell us about the couple of questions that came in. That was fun.
Yeah, I was editing the video a little bit this morning, and so I was watching the live stream comments come in, and Gigi Gilliard, one of our favorite partners, she was like blowing up the chat, and I text her today. I'm like, I love watching all your like so many high fives and just like plus ones, and it was just wonderful. So that was amazing, the connections, and like we plan the agenda in a way to really facilitate that, especially recognizing a lot of us haven't seen each other since early 2020. If we were lucky, most likely 2019, right? And so to like get all those people in the room, and I know I've been to events where like you're just sitting the whole time, like listening to someone talk, and even if it's an important thing to say, like let's take advantage of the fact we're all physically together. And so we had networking, we had live music, we had a saxophone player, and for the whole first hour, and then we only had the presentation for a half an hour. And everyone had champagne in them by then, so it didn't even matter how well we did.
And then ending with cake.
And then we ended with cake. It felt a little bit like a wedding, without it's just instead of a marriage or wedding, it was a book.
It was a book.
We cut cake together. We had champagne. There was no dancing. Next time we need dancing.
Next time we dance. But there was amazing saxophone, so that was good.
Yeah, that was really fun. So what else is like? What's next for the book, Sertrice? Like aside from people buying it, giving us reviews and telling us what you like about it, and giving it to your friends, what's next?
Well, definitely if y'all think this sounded fun and you want to see round 2 in the Raleigh area, let me know. Would love to have that.
Yes.
Convince Victoria to come visit me. Be good. But no, I think, like you said, it's kind of fun to think about that, the part 2. So that's like longer term future and something that now has my interest. But I think something else that's fun to see, and that came up, I know, last night too, is just this idea of communications around the book. And so people, and I know we have at least one event scheduled already to come in and talk with, it's a membership organization, and talking with them about the book and giving them some insight and helping them answer questions, because there are people who are doing this work. And so just really getting to see the book come to life. That's what I want to see next, right? It's less of just like, okay, let's get it out. But all right, now what are you doing with it?
Yeah.
How is it helping you? Where do you still have questions? And hopefully, there is the workbook that you can download from the website to help you some, but it's not everything, right? This work is hard. And so really, I think that's what I want to see next, is that once people start consuming it, where are the gaps still? What are the questions they have?
I'm really excited about that as well. And it's very much related to what you're doing tonight with Baltimore Tracks. And so anyone tuning in or watching the replay, just Google Baltimore Tracks and Mattingly, right? And there'll be a couple articles, one from Technically that will come up. And Sertrice has been doing some really amazing work over there. So they are a coalition of local startups in the Baltimore area. And what is the percentage of the Black population in Baltimore? Is it like 70-ish?
It's 70 something.
Yeah, it's in the 70%. But is that what the tech demographics look like in that startup community? No, right? So like this coalition of tech startups in the Baltimore area has come together to actively work in partnership with one another and with this, broader organization to fix that problem. And it's a really like beautiful mission to come together with, and a lot of energy around it. And so Sertrice is doing workshops on taking a more data-driven approach. And I'm going to stop talking, but you should share more. It's really amazing.
It's been really great getting to chat with them. And they did some of this work a year ago. So this is their second year, but it's our first year helping them out because they realized it is a lot of work and they wanted a little extra support. And so it's been amazing because they're all so committed and interested. And so in addition to helping them with some of the data collection, it's just been conversation. We've had 3. Today's actually our last one, which is wild to think about. But we talked about, how to collect data, and then we talked about how to analyze and report it out. And today is all about communicating and sustaining your DEI efforts. And so that last piece to really help them shape their journey. And so, it's been really fun. And I definitely throughout it all, I'm like, this is stuff that relates back to the book. And it's funny how it all just comes together because that is the foundation. It's a very foundational book. And so hoping to do more events like that.
But I see such a beautiful overlay between the book and what you're doing with Baltimore Tracks. Like how to know the right data to collect, and then how to go about collecting it, and how to also take that double click down, right? Because like what we do the survey data, but then we always do the follow-up focus groups to make sure that, okay, this is what we're seeing, but why is this happening, right? And so to like just give the strategies in like workshop form with what we talk about in the book to a very specific population, because you pull in startup examples and tech examples because it's that context, right? And then to be able to kind of take the book on the road and do more of these like multi-series and like how to really bring that next step to life. And we had a friend reach out and he had all these ideas of like, y'all can do this or that. And like, I like the idea of maybe like once a week or once a month, like people come together and we do like a workshop on like what's, how are you applying Inclusalytics and what barriers are you facing? Because chances are if one company is facing barriers, others are as well. And to like get us on the horn live and like be able to answer questions. So I see lots of different ways we can go with it. I want to see more sales. I want to see, and once again, to echo what Sertrice said earlier, not sales for the sake of sales for the sake of getting the book in the hands of the people who can benefit from that. And even if it is just from a chapter, even if it is just from one standpoint, because we talk about employee resource groups, we talk about training, we talk about things that aren't training. There's more to DEI than not training. I love training. I've been doing DEI for 6 years. I've been doing training for over 12. I love training, but there is so much more to this work than training. It's an important piece. You need education.
Right. Yeah. But it's just that. It's a piece. It's not the whole picture. So I'm glad you mentioned that the idea of meeting together, because that's another thing that takes me back to Baltimore Tracks, right? Is sometimes the block for people, especially startups, is they either don't have budget or they don't have a lot of employees or whatever it may be. They feel like they can't really do this work or they don't know how to talk about it. And they need more, so they want to lean on each other and be able to learn from each other too. And so the idea of doing these sessions with the book with people from other places, right? So not necessarily just, we're meeting with this one organization, but let's bring together different people, representatives from different organizations, all doing this work, kind of moving through that journey at the same pace. So you can ask each other, not just us as scientists, similar to what we did in the book, right? We didn't just write it from our scientist practitioner perspective. We also interviewed a bunch of people. Yeah. So it's like that in real time. Yeah. So this is a chapter. Here's what we do. We'll answer your question and give advice. What are you seeing? what are the trends? What's been hard? What's going well? How can you learn from each other? I just think that would be something really powerful. If people are interested, let us know if that sounds like something interesting.
Yes.
Before we put this together, let us know.
Well, and I was just thinking, with the success and just like the potential you've seen with Baltimore Tracks, I'm seeing similar with the work we're doing with Open to All.
Yeah.
And we're working. If y'all are in retail or have any interest in retail, especially at what can be done to make retail environments truly open and accessible to all, where you can go in and not be treated differently because of your gender, the color of your skin, your ethnicity, your background, your ability, and so it's a fantastic organization, and it's so like empowering and inspiring and like and powerful, honestly, to get these major retailers in a room together to be talking about what can we do to reduce racial bias in retail? What can we actually do that's going to make a difference, that's above and beyond just another, charter? Like, commitment's good, but it can't stop there. And that's even why the session that you're doing tonight at Baltimore Tracks, it's commitment and sustainability. It's commitment and what's next, and having a broader community, a collective to hold each other accountable and, change the industry, change what tech looks like from a racial demographic standpoint as an industry in Baltimore. Like, it's just so inspiring. Like, this is why I became an organizational psychologist. I feel like some days I'm just like, I'm so lucky we get to do this work. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, I digress. It's been a long week, even though it's Tuesday afternoon.
I know. It's pretty wild. Everything's moving fast and furious, but it's been great so far, and I just can't wait to see where it goes next. And I'm really, again, just appreciative to everyone who's been supporting us on this and cheering us along, and hope you enjoy all of our updates so we can keep you up to speed on everything. But before we wrap up today, any final thoughts from you, Victoria?
Yes, and so it looks like we're not in the same space, but we were actually like here together, and Sertrice, to like have you here and have you here in Pittsburgh, just to have you like in the company, and just you joining and taking this risk on working with me and building this company together and what we do to co-lead it. And it's just like, I love what we're building, and I'm grateful every day for you in general, but to be physically in the same room with you right now. And we get about once a quarter together. So we're getting there, and I'm going to go down to North Carolina. So listen, North Carolinians, if we book launch party, give us a reason. If y'all are going to show up, I'll bring down all the champagne we have left. We have cases of champagne left over. Like, we need to have we usually do karaoke when Sertrice is in town. So we're like, maybe next time we'll do like a bubbles and belting or something. I don't know. Working on the name there. But anyway, so grateful you're here in person. #IRL. Thank you all for tuning in. Buy the book, share the book, tell us how you're loving the book. Tell us if you don't like the book, and we'll make it better next time. Just DM us that stuff, though.
Yeah,
just
don't
DM
put
us.
that one on Amazon. DM us that feedback.
Just DM us. We'll still listen. We'll still be grateful for it. But have a wonderful day, and we look forward to talking more about the book here soon. So reach out anytime. Bye.